Yeah, I think we should.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We need to start
That again?
Yeah.
Or-
It wasn't.
Or-
Confirm any decisions that you've made.
So as long as it's decisions,
Yeah.
it's not you reading it.
Okay, so just
we'll
the digits?
Yeah, just do those, yeah.
Okay, sorry, we just realised our broadcast was not going live, so we're just going to move our apologies again. Can I have an apology for Councillor Symington and Councillor Marnie? So moves Councillor Jonathan, second Councillor Curry. All those against, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Okay, carried. So we have done the notice of the request to attend the meeting via audiovisual link, the notice of live streaming and the code of meeting practice, and there are no declarations of interest and there are no public participation on items on the agenda. So now we will move to the first item of business, which is FIN 017-23, is the confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting held on the 11th of April 2023. Mr. Councillor Jamison, seconded by Councillor Farah. Are there any questions or discussions, councillors, on the minutes? No. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Very carried. Okay, we move to the first of the committee reports, which is FIN 018-23. That's the investment report as at the 31st of March 2023. Can I have a councillor as a mover and a seconder? Second motion. Councillor Jamison has moved the motion and Councillor Pekara has seconded. Councillors, do we have any questions or discussions on the investment report?
Oh, well, just the investment performance commentary, just with 0.5. It says excess performance minus negative 0.02%. What's that actually saying?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yep, so that's based on a comparison against, we use the Ausbond Bank Bill Index to rate performance. Though it was negative associated with the cash rate, it has moved along the last 12 months, but when it was down over the 12-month period, so we weren't getting great returns for our investment, but that's now taken off, but it's an average over the 12-month period, so that's drawing it down for the quarter or for the 12-month period, but it is improving. So we're seeing we are, as you can see, we're hitting above the performance index now.
So it's just a benchmark, really.
Yeah.
Any other questions, councillors? No. Okay, so that's been moved by Councillor Jamison, seconded by Councillor Pekara. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare it carried. Okay, we go to FIN 019-23. That's the quarterly budget review for the period ended 31st of March 2023. Thank you, Councillor Pekara. And seconded by Councillor Jamison. Councillors, does anyone have any questions on the quarterly budget review? I've got a couple of questions, but anyone else?
You started. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think under item 12 on the report, it says that the operating income was slightly better than expected from income, interest income, regulatory funds and net gain of disposal of assets. Just wondering if the acting director could just give us a bit of an overview of the regulatory fines, which are $730,000 above budget, and the net gain on disposal of assets, what those assets were.
Yep. Through you, Madam Chair. Do you want to? I'll refer that to Craig. Otherwise, I'm happy to give an overview. So for the fines, it is a budget, so it's estimated based on prior year trends. We have seen that it is performing above the budget. We are investigating the link between the commercial property car parking, as when that was originally adopted by council, there were commentary that it would improve some of the income that we attain there. So we're just wanting to have a look that we do foresee that some of the income projected from commercial properties original business case is actually seeing the performance there, and that's explaining the downward turn in the.
That's been reported in the budget.
Yeah,
for the
so we're looking at that for the 23-24 budget to get a greater, I guess, clarity and making sure that that's outlining the performance. So it's a good news story that we are performing better, but we're just wanting to sort of really pinpoint why. And our current assumption or investigation is leading to the fact it's the commercial car parking installation plus the performance of the regulatory team as well.
Okay.
In terms of the net gain on disposal of assets, So it's based on plant and equipment and a financial return. It's not land or building or anything of that sort. It's the financial one is a return based on a class action we were participating in associated with a collateralized debt obligation that we lost money at the former Hurstville a number of years ago. So the litigation was successful in getting a return of 843,000 back to council to compensate us for the loss that occurred in those prior years during the global financial crisis. And the second one is a plant and equipment of 500,000. So that's a normal turnover of plant and heavy machinery and other light vehicle to ensure they're adequate for use. So that happens every, I think, 2 to 3 years.
So the payout from the creditors, that was basically one of those examples where we participated in the class action. It could go for years and years and years. We may get money or we may not, but it doesn't cost us anything to participate.
Correct.
And eventually you might get some money back.
Yeah, the event dates back to 2013. Did you want to add anything?
2015, so I think this was the third distribution we've received, and I did know there was the third and final one too.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Just on that as well, what about insurance? Do we hear anything or will we expect to hear anything? We
No update on that at this point.
can't do anything to speed it along.
I'll chase it up tomorrow for you.
Through the chair, I just sort of highlighted a few things here, but I won't bring them all up. The one that I'm just a little bit confused with, and I'm probably not reading it properly in terms of accountancy terms, but through the chair, it's paragraph 7. And it's basically saying that we're looking at an operating surplus of 4.5 million. And I presume that then it talks about the operating income versus the operating expenditure. And maybe my maths is not very good, but would that have to be 3.1 plus 2.6 giving 5.7, or have I got it? I'm not really good with accountancy stuff.
Did you want to answer that one, Fred? Through you, Madam Chair, to the acting CFO.
Yeah, so that would be, so that's the year-to-date performance for March, which is where we're up against 4 million
It
surplus.
says 4.5,
Yeah.
but when you add the two figures together, assuming that you do it that way, I'm not sure.
They're
I might be wrong. Sorry.
They're referring to variances to the budget. So you'll find that the revenues above, I haven't actually got
The revenue is above by 3.1,
above budget.
and the expenditure is down by 2.6. So that adds to 5.7.
Through you, Madam Chair. The commentary is about the performance against the budget, whereas his commentary is the 4.5, the actual trending surplus as well. So we'll take it on notice, but I think it's right in it's talking about nearly 2 different things in some ways, but in the one paragraph. Yeah,
Well, as I said, I'm not too.
that's right. You're right.
No,
I was even
top of
looking at it going, that
accountancy
equals 5.7. It's different. That's just the way it's been communicated. It's about the income versus the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll check it anyway and take it on notice and let you know if it is a typo.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, I've got another question, which is with relation to table 5, the key performance indicators. And it looks like we're performing well to the benchmarks on most of those there. I just wanted to ask about the debts over $20,000. Currently sitting at 1.8 million in debt across 32 debtors, and just get the acting director's feedback on if that's a reasonable level where you would expect to be at the council, or if that's something to be concerned about.
Through you, Madam Chair. So the indicator above it, the rates annual charges and outstanding percentage, less than 5%. So that's a indicator that's set by the OLG. And so it does fluctuate through the year given rates is done by instalments. So it does account for the fact that some things come in later. So you will see it always fluctuate outside. At the moment, it's sitting at 5.8%. But at the year end, we report that in the financial statements, and we're always around that 3.5. So we're healthy considering our size. You always want it to be 0, but that's unlikely to happen. We have seen improve to the prior quarter. The material amount of that $1.9 million that's outlined there is one debtor, which has a payment plan that council approved a number of months back. So that will be paid over 5 years, and that's 620,000 that makes up that 1.9 million. So that's quite a material just for one debtor, which has a payment plan in place. I'm not concerned by that amount, and we do actively manage it and we do debt recovery. In the event that we can't recover it, then it's council that writes off debts if we deem that it's unrecoverable. So any position where it becomes unfeasible or it's not in our financial best interest to recover it, it's a council decision. So that will sit there and we continue to recover it or aim to recover it until that point. But the number is not alarming and it has improved from prior quarter.
Okay.
It's
And then I just had one last question, which is on the quarterly budget, which is table 10, quarterly contracts awarded greater than $50,000. Noting that there's $100,000 for Hurstville Aquatic Leisure Centre new gym equipment. And I guess my question is just why is council the one purchasing the gym equipment? And I'll put the question to you, and if you want to put it to another staff member.
through you, Madam Chair. I'll refer that to the Director, Assets and Infrastructure, Andrew.
Madam Chair, the gym equipment is actually owned by council. The $100,000 was a renewal of end of life gym equipment. So that's why you're seeing it appear there. It was actually factored into the capital works budget as well for last year. So council did approve that capital works budget.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And that's the last question I have. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, okay, it's been moved by Councillor Ficarra and seconded by Councillor Jonathan. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All those against, declare it carried. The next item is FIN 020-23 property matter, commercial property portfolio report as at the 31st of March 2023.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Moved by Councillor Ficarra and seconded by Councillor Jamieson. Councillors, any questions on this report? No questions? Okay, we'll get the motion. All those in favour say aye.
I thought we were making,
Did I?
oh wait, no, I skipped one, sorry, I'm at the wrong one, yeah.
All those in favour say aye. All those against, and declare it carried. Okay, and we move to the next item, which is FIN 021-23 property matter, proposed reclassification and sale of part of Moore Park, Beverley Park. I have a proposed amendment to that, which the staff have received.
To do a mover and second information.
Okay. You want to
Now.
Councillor Jonathan will move the motion?
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
Motion.
I was supposed to read it first.
And just
Read it out.
So are you
Nikki can delete the original and proposed amendment and delete
are you happy
proposed
to move
amendment.
that, Councillor Jamieson, as the motion?
Yep.
At Council 6, do you want to read it out?
No,
No,
I can't
do you want me to
read
read it out? I'll read it out then. Good. The council seeks further information in regard to the future development plans of this site before this matter is considered further, and that during any future consideration of the matter, the general manager provides a further report to council outlining details of all costs, consideration payable and options in regard to replacement of open space. Yeah. Does any councillors want to ask any questions or discussion on this one?
No, I'd like to speak to the motion as the seconder.
Yeah. Okay.
I look forward to the report from the general manager and the council staff, as it's incredibly important that whenever the councillors are reviewing it, particularly sensitive matter like this, that we take all the different information to account, and it's really important that we think sincerely about matters like this. So I thank Chairwoman Borg and Councillor Jamieson and the Mayor Nikki Catras for working on this amendment together.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I just ask that we incorporate, I did go down there and had a good look at this triangular piece of land, and it's quite a peculiar out of the way type thing. I'm just wondering, is there any information that you can incorporate in that report which indicates what is that triangular piece of land being used for?
Yep.
Because what I saw was the whole triangular piece being fenced off, and there was when I say fenced off, then there was a pathway that went along what they would normally call, as a triangle, the hypotenuse, the long one. It's okay.
Bigger.
It's the long one of the triangle, right? And that had a pathway going right with it, going straight through that and then getting out into the cul-de-sac. But there was one access point to the a little square or rectangular dog
Yeah, so
thing.
there's a pathway that goes from
Yeah.
Bob Crescent through to Haslett Crescent,
That's correct.
and then there's a pathway that takes you down to Ferry
Yeah.
Avenue with the dog park in it.
Yeah.
So you
If
want
there's-
to, you want to
yeah, if there's
understand
a-
if there's any, I guess, community
If
impact.
there's any
like what community
information on
impact
that,
would be.
because I want to see how the community
Yeah.
is using it, what they're doing with it. Because all it sort of appears to me to be is just a whole clump of trees and then the pathway divides it up.
There's no trees on that piece of land.
It's a little bit, there's a couple of trees.
Shrubs.
Yeah.
Shrubs. or-
Yeah.
Tiny.
There's a lot of
Tiny.
trees in the rest of the
Yeah,
more reserve there, more park.
there's a few shrubs.
Does the, sorry, does the pathway, is that included on the piece of land?
Through you, Madam Chair, I think the pathway is the boundary of where, the extent of where a subdivision would be required if council decided that the sale.
Thank you, but yeah, we'll include that in any future report, just the
Yeah, just,
impact
yeah,
on
any
what
future,
community
yeah.
use it for and if there would be an impact.
Okay, well, we have the motion moved by councillor Jamieson and seconded by councillor Carr. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against, declare that's carried. And there being no further business on the agenda, then I'll declare the meeting closed. 6:20 p.m.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.